Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. When William Ruto began all these machinations and schemes to impeach his deputy Rigathi, he thought it was as easy as ABC. But you will agree with me that Rigathi has put a spirited fight, and it is not going to be very easy. Did you watch the public participation across the country? And I've seen the media, the communication team around the president trying to paint for us a picture that the president won. While on the contrary, President William Samoei Ruto suffered one of the biggest political blows, and he has been left with a rotten egg on his face. Ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto and the deep state at the NIS had wanted to rush the impeachment motion against Rigathi. But then they realized that this is something that is happening for the first time, that is touching at the heart of our constitution. And Moses Masika Wetangula had ruled that there should be public participation. Now that public participation today turned out the opposite way as Ruto had thought. Members of parliament who are supporting the impeachment of Rigathi, it is reported, were given about 300,000 shillings plus other packages to mobilize people to go and say that they want Rigathi impeached. But I want to show you these clips that will corroborate what I'm telling you, that there is one common convergent point. Kenyans are saying, kufa dereva, kufa makanga. Both the driver and the conductor must go because they feel we elected Rigathi and Ruto under one ticket. We will look at that, and I want to show these clips. The courts sitting, a High Court judge sitting in Kerugoya certified a complaint by one of the residents that public participation must be conducted not only within the counties but at the constituency level, and the court gave the green light. So it means that apart from the fiasco and the shambolic public participation that was being rushed, it is now going, the parliament has been compelled by courts to ensure that now public participation is going to the constituency level. We are going to look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also going to look at Morara Kibaso. Morara Kibaso is a young man, courageous, and he has a future in politics. But he must be very careful, because if he's not, I can show you that politics has ended the lives of many. Tom Mboya, Pio Gama Pinto, even businessmen who are aligned to some politicians are gone. Jacob Juma. And I'm going to give Morara Kibaso an urgent message from the diaspora team if he's not careful, because he's some people have built their hope around Morara Kibaso. Ladies and gentlemen, let us look at these clips.
Hakuna mwenye anabaki. Hakuna mwenye anabaki. Wewe, MP wakipitisha kwa parliament wanakuna. Hakuna mwenye anabaki, na ikiwezekana pia MP waende. Hata MP waende. Hata magavana waende. Wametuzoea. Hakuna kutumika tena. Tumechoka. Tumechoka. Mnyonge ashuke. Mnyonge ashuke.
We have so many problems than impeaching Deputy President Gachagua. We have problems that are affecting Kenyans. And you people, you are not talking about those problems. You are bringing motion about removing Gachagua in the office. Yet we have people who don't understand the difference between NHIF and SHA. We have people in Turkana who don't understand. Now our Jews vitu.
Ladies and gentlemen, those clips speak for themselves. No Rigathi, no William Ruto. No Gachagua, no Ruto. Kufa dereva kufa makanga. And I know those who are around the president tend to, cherry pick areas where some sponsored people are saying, Gachagua must go and all that. And I want to demystify something. People who are saying that Rigathi and Ruto must go together or they remain are not saying that Rigathi is impeccable. No one is saying that Rigathi is good. As a matter of fact, Rigathi exhibited, tendencies of a dictatorial tendencies. And if he survives this impeachment motion, the communication team around him, the advisors, must warn Rigathi Gachagua, because he has shown us that he's a tribal leader, only thinking of Mount Kenya. And I know he says every politics is local, but the way he was doing it only shows that Rigathi, and this is the reason why very many people fear him, that Rigathi is a man who, if at all he forms a government, he will be more than Ruto. He will, only think of his tribe or Mount Kenya. But they're also saying that there is nothing that Rigathi has been accused of that William Ruto is not doing. Tribalism and wastefulness and corruption and all these things, and even disrespect to his boss. William Ruto is the author and the finisher of all these things that Rigathi Gachagua has been accused of. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it worries William Ruto that something that he thought would be very easy and very simple is now taking a new twist. And they are telling him explicitly that, Mr. President, you were elected under one ticket. In fact, many people are saying, we didn't know Rigathi Gachagua. You are the one who brought him to us. You told us that Rigathi was the best bet. You were given Kithure Kindiki, but you said, no, I want Rigathi Gachagua, for reasons that we don't want to understand. So you cannot tell us now that Rigathi is so bad that you want him to go, yet you remain in that office. Uhuru Kenyatta really tolerated you. That is what is taking place. Number two, Akerugoya Court, as I told you, has indicated that public participation is now going to be undertaken at the grassroots level. I'm telling you, it is going to be a battle. I remember Rigathi saying it is not going to be easy because 200,000, some 200 or 300 people cannot sit because they've been bribed or influenced or they've been pocketed by the executive arm of the government, and they want to impeach someone who's been elected by over 7 million votes. From where I sit, if you ask me, I could be wrong. I still believe that 2022 votes were rigged. There was election malpractice. Ask the Venezuelan, Jose Camargo. But that is now water under the bridge. If we cannot fight for electoral justice and we had moved on, you cannot give us another bait that the person whom you conducted an election with that we believe it was stolen, now you want him to go. Now, William Ruto had thought that they would rush this public participation. In Nakuru, I saw some people fighting that even the papers that were given were fake. Because this is a deep state thing. Deep state only belongs to the president. It has been there. During Moi, it was Biwot and the group. During Kibaki, people like Mudaura were there. During Ruto, I think people like Mateni also formed part of the deep state. These are businessmen and influential politicians that control the president. They can call him to order. We feel that people like Oscar Sudi and Farouk Kubet are part of the deep state, and they work very closely with the NIS. And they thought that they would rush this over. But now the courts are saying, go to the deepest part of Isiolo and Lamu, go to Migori, go to Kerugoya, go to Kambani Machakos, go everywhere and listen to the people. That is where it is going to be very difficult. Trouble is going to begin from there. Because I know I was interacting with some people who were just given money and the vehicles were ferrying them, buses were ferrying them to Bomas, and they went there under one agenda. Go and say Rigathi was bad. Others was told, go and say we want Rigathi to remain. So it was a mobilization. But now when it gets to the grassroots levels, that is where you are going to get the real thing, because the member of parliament is going to face the people who elected them. You can imagine what is going to happen in Mount Kenya, for example. Kimani Chungwa is going to face his people, and he's telling them, he wants to listen to them, and the people are telling them, we want you to show us or tell us why you want to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. So it's going to be very difficult. The courts, the High Court in Kerugoya has really dampened the spirit of William Samoei Ruto. It's not going to be very easy. Last but not least, Morara Kibasu was chased in a video that you have all seen.
Hatuendi!
Order! Can we secure those papers? Can we secure the papers? Wewe huwezi kuja kuharibu mkutano ya public participation. Everyone has an opinion. Piga! Wacheni kupigana! Morara! You cannot come to destroy a meeting.
Musiende.
Aya, nyamaza.
Aya, ketini chini.
Wapi?
Aya, tukae chini.
Kaeni chini. Kaeni chini, wale walikuja public participation wakae. Wale walimobiliziwa kuja kuharibu waondoke. Wale wamekuja public participation wakae.
Aya, kaeni chini.
Aya, tukae. Order, tukae. Tukae chini. Tukae chini.
Aya, keti chini. Everybody sit down.
Tukae chini. Wana Nairobi, tukae chini.
Aya, tukae chini.
Tukae chini watu wetu, tukae chini.
Nairobi oye!
Oye!
Nairobi oye!
Oye!
Nairobi oye!
Oye!
Nairobi oye!
Oye!
Hii ndio utamu ya Nairobi. Hiyo ndio utamu ya Nairobi.
Tukae chini.
Hiyo ndio utamu.
Tukae chini.
Ndio. Yes.
Wale wakae. Kina mama mkae.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need to talk so much about this clip that you have seen. I've seen Morara Kibasu saying that he was denied entry into Bomas. And when he finally got into Bomas, they denied him a microphone. And so maybe he got angered or something. And I want to urge Morara Kibasu that he needs to read politics. He's a man, he's a lawyer. It is a man who is sharp, but he should understand, like I said, that politics has prematurely ended the lives of many. And so Morara Kibasu is someone who people look at as an alternative voice and an alternative leadership. Many people think or feel that come 2027, we need to do away with all the political class, all of them, so that we can get some fresh blood. But the fresh blood that we're talking about could be people like Morara Kibasu. He has really executed, they say He's been injecting. He goes to the projects that were launched by William Samoei Ruto, and he exposes them how they have stalled the billions and millions of shillings that have been, you know, channeled to those projects, yet they don't pick up. And Morara has basically become a thorn in the flesh to the government. One of the people I spoke to is a person who is involved in security, and he was telling me that Morara Kibaso needs to be protected and he needs to be advised well. That under such commotion, for example, in Bomas, someone could have just killed him. Those the chairs that were being thrown, they can really injure someone. But this guy was telling me that someone will take advantage and even clobber him using some knife or something, and he will be gone. In that commotion, someone can even shoot him. If the government has a problem with him, they can even sponsor his death, and when he dies, the government will not take responsibility. They will say it was a commotion in Bomas or something of the sort. He's being marked by the government, and in that crowd, he was also being marked by the pro Ruto, the adherents of William Samoei Ruto, because many people feel that he's aligned to Rigathi Gachagua, because he's telling Kenyans that this is a choreographed fight to hoodwink us and to divert our attention from the real elephant in the room, the Adani deal and the corruption in the country. And so, some people don't want to hear this. And so if he's not very careful, his light, the shining star, can be annihilated without any warning, without any notice. Someone sent me a message from the diaspora, USA to be very precise. It was telling me, can you get access to Morara Kibaso? We love him and we want him to be very careful. Let him choose his fights very well. He's doing a good job, but let him know where to go and how to conduct himself. I could hear TJ and Elachi saying, you cannot come here and try to interfere. They were claiming that he was gagging the people who are in the Bomas. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether his people tried to interfere with the process. He needs to be very careful. He doesn't need to be seen as the one who was on the offensive side, because as it was, he was placing people who were there on the offensive so that it will be said he's the one who initiated chaos. Let him be very careful, otherwise it will not end well for him. As I've said, he is an alternative leadership in this country. He can provide alternative leadership. People need him in 2027. They can team up. That's why people like the Busia Senator Kiong Utata are also being advised to be very careful, because if the powers that be realizes that you can challenge them, it might not end well. And ladies and gentlemen, it has left William Ruto with a rotten egg on the face. It is either both of them go or none of them goes. That is what people are saying. It is something that William Ruto would not want to hear, but it is what it is.